there. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us on this week's edition of The Diary. You know, it's always a pleasure to be in your company. And well, today we're going to be talking about something really very special. I call it special because I do believe everyone has had that moment in their life when they saw somebody they used to know who looked one way, and then after a couple of years, you run into them and you're wondering, what happened to you? No, you were this color before and now you're looking the other way. What's happening? Well, you probably already guessed. I'm talking about skin bleaching, or njangsang, like we call it locally in Cameroon. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on the show. And no, we're not talking about it because I am dark skinned. We're talking about it because it's a problem, not only in Cameroon and not only in Africa, but around the world. So skin bleaching is our subject for today. Don't go away. After the transition, you're going to meet my guest. Welcome back. You're watching The Diary on STV, and today's theme is skin bleaching. Well, I don't know if you've heard, but recently Rwanda and Ghana banned the importation and the sales of bleaching products. Why? Well, we're going to try to talk about that today. And also I was reading that 77% of Nigerian women bleach their skin. Well, did you know that? So that's why I've decided that today on the show we're going to talk about skin bleaching. It's now time to meet the special group of people I've put together to talk about this very important subject. I always start with the ladies, so that will not change today. Ladies first. Let me begin with Tabitha Helen. You've seen her on the show severally. Well, you've not only seen her on the show, you've seen her on several other shows because she's a TV personality. Hello, Helen.
Hi, Manda.
It's good to have you. It's been a while.
I know, right? Because you've not been inviting me.
No, I've been calling her. She's not been picking her phone. That's the real problem.
I'm very happy and very excited to be here today and to talk about a prominent issue in our society today, skin bleaching, aka njangsang. And I'm ready for the show today.
All right, I'm glad to know that. And sitting right next to Helen is our very good friend, Laura Capture. She's a medical doctor. You've also seen her on the show severally. Laura, it's good to have you.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to respond to the invitation.
You're looking great today, and I like that you're flaunting the, the color, the melanin.
I know it, melanin popping.
Yes, absolutely.
Thanks. I hope that my black will invite all the people who are hurting themselves to stop doing that.
Okay, we sure hope so too. And now let me turn to the other side to meet the third lady. Her name is Mabel Chenjo. Mabel has been on the show before. Yes, she too has been here before. She's a journalist, she's a translator, she's a businesswoman, she's a lot of things in one. Hello, Mabel. It's good to have you on the show again.
Hello, Manda, and hello to all the viewers of The Diary. It feels good to be here again.
Yeah, she too is black, Melanin everywhere. It's just melanin everywhere. No, this was not planned. No, seriously. I did not plan to have only melanin girls on set. No. This is, trust me, it was not planned, but I think it works just fine. And to the only cock on set, the lone gentleman, Emmanuel Shiangong, who is gracing our set for the very first time. Yeah. I am really very happy to have you because you are the expert. You are the beautician, you're the beauty expert. He runs Ziva Coiffure, and he has this amazing training center for Cameroonians, so people generally, because people come out of Cameroon to get trained who want to learn about beauty and all of that. It's good to have you on the show for the first time.
I'm honored.
I'm certain we're going to learn a lot from you.
Well, let's see how it goes.
Yes, let's see how it goes. No more waste of time. Let's get straight to it. So we're talking about bleaching or creaming or njangsang. Choose how you want to call it. And we'll start with the basics, of course. We must always start with the basics. Now, when we talk about skin bleaching, what exactly, I'm going to turn to you, of course, you're the expert. When we talk about skin bleaching, what exactly are we referring to?
Okay, we have this situation where you tend to slow down or stop the production of melanin in your skin. I would like us to let it be very simple because it's a very scientific procedure, but we'll try to make it very simple. We have different type of pigments in our skin. depending on our races. They're generally two dominant, the eumelanin and the pheomelanin. And the Africans and the Asians have the eumelanin, which is the pigment is more like grains. And why the Europeans, they have, and it's for like the Northern Europe, they really have what they call the pheomelanin, which are more like diffused. So the pigment comes in a diffuse form, and of course, that way you can't have a concentration that will dominate on the skin. And with the Africans, it's really the large grains, and there's a concentration of the darker shades, that's from like dark brown upward, like medium brown upward. And the Asians have it a bit more dispersed, not concentrated, but same eumelanin and smaller grains. So the cell in the skin that does it is called the melanocyte. And it actually supplies, one melanocyte actually supplies about 30 keratinocytes, which are the cells that build our body, the skin, this organ that really envelops us. So there is a procedure for which melanin is produced by melanocyte. And so there have been chemicals that can actually stop in there. It needs an enzyme that they call tyrosinase that oxidizes the tyrosine. Unfortunately, we'll have to do a bit of this into melanin. So what they do is, there are some procedures, chemical procedures that have now been exploited by the beauty industry to inhibit the enzyme that catalyzes that reaction, which is tyrosinase. So you will hear somebody say a tyrosinase inhibitor in professional environments. But generally, we have a lot of things that some of the names you know already. So the FDA that actually sees about what chemical goes in, what cosmetics, there's the Food and Drug Administration is an organization in the United States, well, it's the strongest, that actually controls what are the percentages of, active ingredients that are put in cosmetics in order to use them in a safe way for the population. That's the duty of the state to watch on the public, the consumer. Will say this percentage of this active ingredient can just be good for us to get it. But there's like as we go along, there will be procedures where it can be accepted or prescribed to modify the skin pigmentation. But other people in their creative nature, as all humans are, they can take this further. And then there are other factors involved around it. So just to answer your question, to make it short.
Yes, let's make it very basic and down to earth.
Yes, just to answer your question, bleaching is inhibiting the production of melanin, which is a natural physiological procedure that nature has given us to protect our keratinocytes, the cells that build our body, from damage, principally from sun damage.
Wow. Okay. So basically, if you understand properly, if you're bleaching your skin, you are putting a stop to something that should be protecting you. So exposing yourself to harm.
Yes, exactly.
Intentionally, on purpose.
We'll come to that.
Okay, we'll come to that. Let's not get too wild already. Now, Helen, let's talk about the trend. Let's talk about what we see nowadays. I like to say, I don't like to say that. Someone told me recently that it seems it's becoming more and more difficult to find, girls with dark skin on a street. It has become so difficult. Let's talk about this trend, Helen.
Yeah, the thing is, it's really trending, like you said, that it's very difficult to find dark-skinned girls because everybody today want to be fair-skinned. Everybody wants to be, follow the trend. So I feel like some men, for example, women want to follow the trend because some people feel like if you're fair in complexion, you're very beautiful. But when you're dark-skinned, you're not beautiful. So everybody want to like Wayne Johnson just to be beautiful. So I feel like everybody want to follow the trend. So that's just it.
All right, Laura, you're a doctor. You're also very dark skinned. Do you feel that people look at you different as per your light skinned friends or family members because of your color?
No, not actually. They don't, because like people rightly said, it's really difficult. I don't really believe that it's difficult to find dark skin women on the street, because like if you just have to say this a representation, like most of us are dark skin. Like so, but what I mean is no, they don't. I think there's a problem concerning I won't say, I will use the word problem, although it may not be the right word to use, because like if we have to look at those who have succeeded, if we have to look at the icons, they are the ones who are practicing that. So generally you will just follow whatever the person you want to copy, you admire will do. So because like I can't really say, if we have to observe, Beyonce is doing, because it's doing skin whitening, because I really wanted to emphasize on that. There's a difference between skin bleaching and skin whitening. And skin bleaching means you just want to, I've said, just go maybe one tone higher than your natural tone. Not really go up to like becoming like very light skin or very fair or a métis or something like that. So it's people should understand the difference. And like our expert rightly said, there are some indications to do skin bleaching, because some people have medical conditions that actually requires us to go through that procedure, not for the whole body, but maybe for small different parts, selected parts. So that's why you remember when they asked Michael Jackson guy, what are you doing? You're black now, you're white. He said, no, I had some vitiligo and I was medically prescribed and stuff. So just to illustrate that there are some things that can make a doctor to prescribe you those kind of procedures, but not to go right up to the point of becoming white or something, really changing your skin tone, no. And just to come back to your question, no, people instead appreciate my tone.
Yeah, maybe because it's become so rare. Maybe because it's become so rare.
I don't know. I've always been dark, so I really don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I get that. Well, I'm also dark skin. I get that a lot. Sorry, she's itching to say something.
Okay, to add to what she said, that people follow the idols like Beyonce. Everybody wants to look like Beyonce. Everybody wants to look like Nicki Minaj. And also, if you walk along the streets, you understand, on the billboards, everything we find, beautiful girls with fair complexion. You go on the magazines, on TV, you see beautiful girls with beautiful...
Video clips.
Everything. These guys want to use beautiful girls with fair skin, you understand? So many of these girls feel like a lot of complex. They've got complex. They don't have confidence in themselves. I would just say confidence. Many ladies bleach because they don't have confidence. They've got this complex. So they want to look different, you understand? So I feel like that's why some girls bleach them.
Okay, now Mabel, now that we're into the why, because that's the big question. If you ask me, we might never be able to answer it properly, but we're going to try at it. Why do you think girls would want to bleach or whiten their skin?
Why would a woman or a girl want to lighten her skin? There are many reasons. We're going to try to go through some of them. First, I think it's because society has somehow given them the impression that when you're fair-skinned, you're beautiful. Normally, when you're fair-skinned, I mean, if Manda were to stand, or if I were to stand with a fair-skinned woman at the foot of this building, normally the fair-skinned woman is going to be seen first by everybody who passes by, because she's fair in complexion. Society has given women that impression that when you're fair, you're more attractive, you're easily seen, you get more attention wherever you go to. That could be one of the reasons why young girls or women tend to bleach their skins today. Another reason could be, like you say, in Nigeria, 77% of women, we have heard they say sometimes the bride price for a woman who is fair-skinned.
Really?
Yes. You're going to have to pay more for a woman who is fair-skinned than a woman who is dark-skinned. And then some women, like Helen did say, some women are just not confident in themselves. They believe that because I'm dark-skinned, I don't get enough the attention I need, so I have to be fair-skinned. I think it's just an issue of people not accepting who they are and loving who they are. They want to be something different. For me, those are some of the reasons why I would say some women bleach themselves. Some, it's just, I don't know if I should say peer pressure, but it's just because you do what your friends are doing. I mean, you have a friend who's fair skin and you're dark skin, and then because it always starts with, I just want my complexion to,
I want to tone myself.
I want to tone my skin. That's when we were in university days. That was the language. That was the vocab we heard all the time. I want to tone my skin. I want to tone my skin a little bit. She starts a month or two, and the following year you cannot recognize your friend again. She's totally white. Different. So for me, these are some of the reasons. It's all about complex, like you said, people having issues with their esteem, and for some, yes, like you said, it's medically prescribed. You have to do it to have resolve any skin issue you may be going through. So for me, that I could say, in a nutshell, for me, these are some of the reasons why some people do it, and some just do it for, they just want to be beautiful. They think maybe in dark skin they're not beautiful, so they just want to, maybe another complexion of the skin will make you more beautiful.
Okay. Now, I'm going to turn to you with the same question. Yes. Because it's a very intriguing question. Why?
Yes, why it's a very important aspect. But you see, at the beginning, we came into the world with the colors we have. And in a community, when you don't meet other communities, you don't start to be very concerned with what is happening elsewhere and what is it. There's always been this superiority of the white race concept, which is a psychological, and we have to go into the mental health dimension of this situation. It's a very important aspect. But you realize that the whole thing comes into what I always say, that there are subjects that have not been treated in school. Nobody talked about image. Nobody talked about pain. Nobody talked about love. Nobody talked about feelings, our emotions, about sadness. These were not taught in school. We taught mathematics, geography, biology, and so on. So the fact that people don't have a scientific and a sociological standing on their feelings makes those feelings very vulnerable, because most of the time when you come telling somebody you are stupid, if they don't know what it is to be stupid, or what does that take them to, how does that classify them, what are the advantages of and disadvantages of being stupid, they wouldn't know what to say. And if they have any reason that you are in a position of strength, they will just follow you. This may look funny, but that's how it has happened. The concept is one. The human being is a creature that is always trying to invent. So if they are black, they want to be white, just for what is behind this thing. That's human nature. It's like, look at kids. The Caucasians want to turn their bodies to be dark.
Yeah.
You know, they just feel this thing is white, looks like nothing. It's just plain. Let me give some color to it. There is energy. As a matter of fact, African skin has energy in terms of the energies that colors carry. We have the copper, we have the orange tones there. It's very energetic, and in an environment where people tend to be very depressive and so on, this is very positive energy. This is very good. And you will realize that in the African community, we are a bit more lively, more communicating even without words, than most other cultures. It has also to do with the colors that we carry. So this aspect of the complex in terms of the superiority of the white race, which is a marketing concept that was just sold. We could as well have prepared for it and we'll take it differently. And now it has become more complex because there are investments that have been put in place to market this concept. And so whether it makes sense or not, what about the investment? What about the factories? What about the raw material? What have all those procedures that have been put in place? They have to keep generating income. So we have to, when you talk of the billboards and all of those stuff, yes, these have been put intentionally in place because it is a strategy to feed the industry that is behind this. And you realize that even when books are written or TV programs are running on, in some community, you may have some brands who refuse to sponsor this program just because they believe that this program is not, feeding in our interest. So whatever the health aspects, sometimes marketing becomes unethical. And that plays with the psychology of those who have not been educated on what is beauty. So these are all the concepts. If we don't have any education on beauty based on our cultural setting, if we don't have any education about feelings, self-confidence, strength, and so on, whatever makes money can be put to you just for the commercial interest. in a way that you think that without doing it, you are lacking in something. And if you are desperately struggling to become somebody who can fit into the system, you see, that's why we talk of ethics. You are pushed into it. And now you get some good results. It becomes a motivation for you to think and walk in that direction. At this point, you haven't had enough information to know the harm you're causing. So when we look at it, it's most often not intentional. I want to bleach to be beautiful. No, there is a pressure on you which has no name and no identity. And that pressure is just pushing you nicely into a corner. There's somebody at the keyboards, monitoring everything to make sure you end on their target. This is going on, and the wise, so to say, are aware of this. And this whole system is working. So when you talk of Ghana and Rwanda, this is a place where somebody says, enough with your game. We now know what the whole thing is about. We are going to change the style of this game. So, but what I want to say is that most of the kids, and when you just look at, I want to be beautiful, sometimes you really didn't want to be beautiful by doing that. Sometimes the system, well organized, makes you believe by doing this you become beautiful, and makes it in a way that you don't have a good morning, for example. You are not called up to answer questions in class. You look at it. It's not done like you are not beautiful, no.
Yeah.
You're treated with less attention, and then you start being anxious, and that makes you nervous and psychologically unstable, and you become more fragile. And at this point, anything you will go for it, because this is again threatening your existence, which is the ultimate fight of every human being. So when you say what is the cause, we can talk about that for a year. Simply because there are many things. But I wanted that while we are having this discussion, we should have this dimension of victims to a system, a global system, which is well organized and which is feeding most of the people who own these industries, who just they don't bleach, so to say. Their wives don't, their children don't.
That's the crazy thing about it.
You will find most of those who produce the alcohol, they are very sane. To be able to produce the alcohol, to have the right percentage, you shouldn't be drunk. So they don't take the alcohol. We should expect that any brewery should have everybody to the general manager drunk. But they don't drink to be able to make it to the way that the drunkards will enjoy it.
Right. Now, I know we've talked around it. Right. Let's get to the heart of it. Laura, let me turn to you with this one. What is wrong with bleaching? Or is there anything wrong with bleaching? What if someone decides, okay, it's my body, I know it's going to hurt me. I know in the future I'll probably suffer, but it's my decision, it's my body. So I'm going to go ahead and bleach. So question, what is wrong? Is there anything wrong with bleaching?
Okay, so my own point of view, given that there is a psychological dimension, a mental dimension to it, which our expert has clearly stated, you are receiving pressure. Is that decision really yours? This is the first question that we should ask ourselves. Is that decision really yours? But if that decision is yours, it's just like when you go into surgery, they will say, okay, 60% die, 60% you live. If you sign the consent form, okay. But if, like I said, in my own point of view, there is supposed to be kind of like a psychological evaluation to make sure that you're taking an informed decision.
Yeah.
Because knowing that it is actually your body, not that it is, like he rightly said, an unknown force, putting pressure you're not even aware of, making you to take a decision you think is yours, but it is not. This is just the game about consumption, whether it being sugar, maybe the topic here is bleaching, but whatever thing we consume and whatever decision we take, there's somebody out there who's making sure that we get different information.
Who's directing you?
Yes, who's
to
directing
path.
yes, just like murmuring into your ears, just like you have somebody murmuring to you, no, this is good, something like that. So that's what I mean. That in my own, if they really have to be somebody who will say, okay, I'll go through the psychological test, you pass the test, it's your decision, go on, be white, go on and have all the side effects. It was your decision, informed consent with a form, like a proper legal procedure. Yes, okay for me. Right. It's your body.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Same question to you, Helen. What is wrong with bleaching?
To me, I'm that kind of a person. It depends on you. If you decide to bleach your body, it's a problem of choice. You understand? Because some people, when they are bleaching, they don't really want to know the consequences of their actions. It's like she said
Most
about...
don't even know at all.
Yeah. Some know, but they don't care about the effects, the immediate
Actually,
effects.
they think it's for
Some
others.
Of them know.
They think it's for others.
They say, I do it the right way. So
yeah, they think it's for others.
Yeah, so to me, bleaching is a choice, and I will never judge anybody that has bleached the body. It depends on you. And like I said, people go into medical or surgical wards upon surgery. They give them the advantages and disadvantages. They preach to them, but then they want to look beautiful. They want to look comfortable. But bleaching has got many side effects. I think we're going to come to that.
Absolutely.
We're definitely going to come to that, but to me, bleaching is a choice. It is a choice.
Okay, and maybe the same question.
Manda, I am dark. And I would not advise somebody who is dark like me to bleach. But now, I don't have a problem with those who choose to do it. I have a problem with those who choose to do it and they don't use the how can I call it? The proper cosmetics or the proper means to do it. I mean, they end up, take a look. Have you seen somebody who's used local, can I call it local cosmetics products to bleach? Have you seen them when they start aging?
Yeah, sometimes they actually use products that are, the products contain substances that are banned, that aren't supposed to be used.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, we have seen young girls who bleach or they do skin lightening or skin whitening, however you want to call it, and they're beautiful. And they spend a lot of money to go through what they do, and they keep on doing that and they stay beautiful. But now I have a problem with those who want to become white, or those who want to be like the white man, and they don't have the means to do it, and then they go and meet some woman. There's always some, in our neighborhood.
Yeah,
come on, mix your own.
Yes.
Yeah, she does the mixtures for them, and you do it, and sometimes you're looking like some roasted cocoyam at the end of the day. You're multicolored, you're like the flag of a country. I mean, that is actually my problem. I don't have a problem with those who choose to move away from the dark skin, from the black skin. I don't have a problem with that. But I have a problem with those who want to do it, and they do it with very cheap and local means and end up looking very funny.
Would you encourage your daughter, let's assume your daughter is all grown up and she says, Mommy, I'm going to change my color, I'm going to become super fair because I want to be so fair, but I'm going to do it the right way, I'm going to go the good products. Would you encourage her?
Like I said at the start, I am dark skinned and I will not encourage somebody who is dark skinned like me to bleach. Okay. So if my daughter were to come up with that, I'm like, she's an adult. I can only talk, I can't chain her down, I can't beat her. If she wants to bleach,
go ahead.
I can't stop her from doing it. I can only advise her. Come on. Flavor said black is beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the black skin. I love dark skin people. I'm not saying I hate fair skin people, but I love this melanin. Like you said, melanin popping. I love it. And I would not advise any person who is dark skin like me to want to bleach.
Yeah. Okay. Now, to our expert, Mayor Shango, my question is this, it's very simple. Is there a proper way of doing it?
Okay, this is a beautiful question, but I would like us to define the word proper.
Yes.
Proper must be linked to an objective. Okay? There are things that you can do, like Jesus had the proper way to die on the cross. He had 3 years to do his mission, and he went, and that was his objective. But I'm sure if they ask anybody around there, would you like to die like him? Everybody will say, not, God forbid. The very God of that Jesus forbid it. So what I'm trying to point is that sometimes, if you have the strength of this guy we call Jesus, you can say, okay, I'll be beautiful for 3 years and I die. You know, this is, and that's why I was so much in love with her concept. You know, the concept is that you go through a test that proves, and a test again. Well,
how many people are doing
that? Proves that this is your choice, you are aware of the consequences and so on. But anyway, when you find somebody without a leg and you give them a support system for them to be more active independently without getting help, I think you've brought some good to their lives. If you have a hyperpigmentation on your body and it's inesthetic and it's making you uncomfortable, and if the procedures for for resolving this hyperpigmentation can bring you a more balanced psychological life and self-esteem without compromising your ability to function properly and be a help to your society. I think it is an advised procedure. In this case, the professionals, the dermatologists, the beauty therapists, the medical estheticians, they will come together, put a procedure in place. And after analyzing, first of all, the cost of your hyperpigmentation, and then what environment you live in, what are the costs involved, your ability to stand that cost with time, and what are the procedures and how composed you are to keep in line with it. Because just like she said, at some point you just keep going, it becomes like an addiction. So in that case, you are guided, and I think that you would be happy with the results, and that can be relatively a nice way of altering your pigmentation.
I like that he says
proper way.
Yes, proper way. Yes. And again, on the contrary, there should be no reason that will permit you to alter a physiological procedure which has been put in place for your well-being, for your sustenance, for your existence. There is no reason for that, except somebody is benefiting from it, which means you make the society a victim. And this, for me, doesn't make, I'm a beauty therapist, I'll make money out of that, but I have ethical principles that make me function in a certain way. Life is supreme. And if we are going into a procedure, then we must put, what is that bringing to life? On the contrary, other psychological worries that you may have because you have a pigment on your body can be resolved psychologically. I mean, you can't be so obsessed with a mark on your face when just the opposite you, somebody with a normal skin went and tattooed the whole face and is looking beautiful.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. I will school you to look at yourself differently, because this is all a game. You cannot be so obsessed that you have a mark on your leg, and just the next person, somebody has tattooed 2 pigment levels higher than that, and is still looking more beautiful than you. So it's all about our mind. That's why I said whatever we do or we discuss on this issue, we have to look at the psychological mind frame. And remember, most of these products are sold in Africa. Why Africa? As much of the Africans in the diaspora, as much as they use these products, but if you go to most communities out there where they have a very balanced information, you realize that it's not this desperate. Because here we have even the men and the women.
Men have jumped into it too.
And when we come to a point where it's really a life-threatening issue, because we have to educate the community through this program. There are life-threatening issues and consequences that will come later on in life. So just to let you know, there can be a proper way to change your skin tone when it has to compromise. It is when we appreciate that it will bring life to you without taking away life in another form. This will be a talk with reflections, and you will be given the opportunity to know that a pigmentation problem does not threaten your life.
Yes. It's not life-threatening.
Yes. So if in normalizing it, so to say, I always put that in brackets because the word normalizing is too nice, but if in normalizing it, you are compromising even a bit of your life, you must be able to sit back and think whether it is worth it. I'm talking because there are people like Jesus, they can do their mission for 3 years and die.
The painful part, the sad part about this is the majority of people, women who get into it, do not even realize, do not even know they have, what's going to happen to them, because the person who sells the products tells you, no, this is good quality, nothing will happen to you, you're going to be fine, and then it dawns on you later on that, I've been hurting myself all this while, and there's nothing I can do about it. It's already too late. So that's, I think, think the goal of the show today, to get people to understand exactly what it is they are doing, and to know that I'm hurting myself, and okay, fine, I'm assuming it, I'm taking it upon myself to say I'm hurting myself and I can deal with it. That's the goal of the show today. Let's talk about influences, Laura. You mentioned earlier, you talked about role models that people follow, the stars. Some of them have become even super rich from doing these things. How do you think they influence negatively the population, our society, and especially the young women that are growing up today in Cameroon?
The negative influence actually comes from the fact that, like I said, if you're a role model, you have people who are looking up to you. They will definitely do anything that you're doing. And as youths, they are being built, they are being programmed. I think it's a word that I always like to use when I'm on this show. Children are just like computers. They are being programmed. If you install the wrong program, you get a wrong human being, in quotes. Because for me, there's nothing like a wrong human being. Like he said, everything is according to a particular objective. So, that's why I would say parents, again, will have to, from very young, really try to train their children to be confident. Like, I, for one, I was a child that you could not come and tell me, I don't know, that I'm stupid. No, I'm not stupid. It's impossible for me to be stupid, because my mom and my dad always told me that I'm excellent. My uncles, everybody. Because that's why the family is supposed to be the place where you feel safe and teach you those kind of things. Because out there, they will teach you all sorts of, I will call it wrong because they're not according to my principle. For other families, I've been told that people even bleach their babies. So maybe, maybe according to their family, it's the right principle. So like I said, influence always comes from very young. If in your nuclear family they didn't teach you how to stand your grounds and which are supposed to be your principle, it's not your appearance that will make you who you are, because there's so many people whose look are not that attractive, because for me there's nobody that's ugly. So whose looks are not that attractive are for being able to accomplish great things. They will not remember actually how you look. They will remember what you've done, how you made them feel. That's the most important thing that you're supposed to remember. But like I said, we are not saying that, I for one, I'm not saying that bleaching is bad or is good. Any procedure that you put your body through, that there is sport. There are some people who say that, no, I only like to weigh 40 kilograms. If I'm more than 40 kilograms, I'm fat. So it depends. If you're ready psychologically to take the part, like he said, Jesus will want to die after 3 years, to take your part. We have nothing to do with your own life. You're an adult. You have the right to do whatever you want with your own self, given that it doesn't hurt the immediate environment. And what I wanted to add concerning what he said was the fact that what you said concerning the fact that there are people who are being told that no, bleaching is safe and so on and so forth. In this our era, 21st century, internet is not for WhatsApp and Facebook, please. It is not for WhatsApp and Facebook. You have the right to inform yourself. If you can't look for your own truths, nobody will come and do it for you. Like I said, you are just like a computer. If you don't install the right program, somebody will come and install his own programs in you, and you will function for his own benefits. Because there's a proverb who says that if you don't work for your own dreams, you will work for the dreams of somebody. That's just a fact.
That's right. Now, still talking about the stars, Helen, I know you work closely with them, the stars, this role models. Yeah, you work, and you were telling me about a few of them who have actually become very famous, not because they had a talent that got them to that point, but because they are very
switch complexions.
Yes, because they switch complexions, and some have even become millionaires from doing this.
Billionaires, yes. parents should be better role models for their kids. They shouldn't let these stars to be role models or influencers to them, because I said at home that it starts at a very young age. You start seeing a kid saying, oh, I don't love my color, because I watched a documentary and a lady saying by the age of 5 she didn't like her complexion, that she hated herself because she was black, and then she started bleaching herself by the age of 23. You understand? And now she regrets it. And talking about influencers, we have Densia Whitenicious. She's the CEO of Whitenicious. She joined, she collaborated with Black China. Black China is a very good influencer. Everybody wants to be like Black China. Everybody wants to be like Densia. But do you want your child to be like Densia or Black China? So if you, as a parent, you don't talk to your kids, these kids will go on social media, especially Instagram. Instagram, there you see fair-skinned girls.
Everybody there
is fair skin, and like I was saying, Densia and Black China decided to collaborate together, and they had to go to Nigeria to go and sell this product, Whitenicious, and they sold it very expensive, very expensive
because of their influence.
Yeah, because of their influence. So you should not let these influencers influence you. And that is why sometimes people are like, who are the people you follow? It depends on the kind of influencers you follow on social media. Because people want to be fair. People want to be beautiful. People, I just think parents should be better role models for their kids.
And that's actually that was my point, that if you raise your children to...
They should have confidence.
Yes, not only to have confidence, but if you raise your children in some kind of values, they will not be attracted to some kind of people. That's just the fact. Because it's not everybody who wants. I don't want to be like Black China or Densia.
People keep saying sometimes, oh, will you want your child to follow this role model? Will you want your child to be like Densia or Black China? Why can't you be a role model for your kids? Because okay, if you are like a mother is bleaching, of course, what do you want your child to do? Your child should definitely want to have her mom's color. Should definitely want to have her mom's complexion. And then some people want to have métis kids. Like you carry a child somewhere.
That's the new one. Thing métis. That's the newest one in Cameroon now. And they don't just this time I noticed they don't just use like products that you apply on your skin. They actually take injections. They take pills. You know, because they want to actually look like they are. What's the right word? They are. I can't seem to look like métis. I'm trying to. Yes, I'm trying to find the right word, but I just can't get it.
Yeah, like for babies, so you take like 2 babies somewhere, and people will be very attracted to the very fair ones. People want to carry the fair child.
Yeah, they say they are prettier.
Yeah, they are prettier, and of course, people have this complex. And
just comes to the mental health, the mental health problem. That problem of white superiority that you talk about.
I agree. I agree with you. And now, Mabel, you're very dark skinned, very much like me. Now, do you feel that sometimes people are bullied? I'm going to put that in quotes, bullied into doing it. Like, did you ever feel bullied because of your color while you were growing up?
All through I've been growing up, what I've always heard is, especially now that I'm just grown up, and you hear people like, ma chérie, ne change jamais ton teint.
Yeah, recently.
Main a fun of. I mean, I knew somebody. He runs a big cosmetic shop, and he does the mixture for other women to bleach. But believe me, his wife is darker than me. He's encouraging other people to do it. It's their choice, though. But he cannot, and says he will never let his wife do it. I've never felt bullied because I was dark skinned. Like everybody, my siblings will come from a high melanin background. And like you said, I don't think. Well, like the expert said, there's some pressure, hidden pressure on people to want to be like the white man. But bleaching will never make you the white man. That's the irony about it.
Because even the mulattoes, African Americans, for example, get bullied. They're still called black. They are fairer than those people who bleach around here, but still they are treated as they are called colored people.
And even the métis are still called colored people.
Half castes.
I think, like he said, it's all and it starts in the head.
Exactly.
We are Africans. The African man is a black man. Like There sometimes I wish if I could have some cosmetics that could make me even darker than what I am today. Because there are some women you see, like from some of these East African countries, you see some overflow of melanin. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
From the head to the toe, like even she seated there. I mean, black it's beautiful. I'm not gonna. So it starts from the head. This is who we are. We are Africans. We are black people. Let us accept. That is who we are. And this skin protects us, this melanin protects us from a lot of things. The sunlight, the UV rays of the sun and all that. I was traveling in a vehicle one day to Boya with some lady, she was seated by me. First thing, because I can't stand people who bleach and they bleach improperly. They don't use the nice way to do it. There's first of all this, when they sweat,
yes, the stench, it's crazy.
So I was seated behind the vehicle and I was already very uncomfortable because she had sweated a lot. And I was like, okay, it's Boya, it's a maximum of 1 hour. I think I can manage it.
You'll survive.
So along the way, and then she was at the side of the window where the rays of the sun were like directly on her. And she was like, driver, I beg, change this direction so I don't bleach. This sun is not fine for my skin.
And she said,
and I'm like, why the hell would you do that?
In the first place.
Why would you sit and decide to change the color of your skin? And you know very well that when you change that color of your skin, you can no longer be exposed so much to sunlight like every other black person will feel comfortable being in the sunlight. So for me, I think I will not say somebody has been bullied into changing your color. Like anyway, the unknown pressure.
That's right.
There's someone bullying.
I asked that question.
Yes, in another way.
Yeah. I asked that question with another thought in mind, because you were very fortunate, let me put it that way. You were not bullied. I asked that because I had the experience.
Black face like charcoal.
You know, I had all kinds of names. People called me Underpot. People called me Black Arrow. No, serious. I had all kinds of names because of my color. And maybe I'm thinking that maybe that would push someone into thinking, I don't want to be treated the way I'm treated. I don't want to be called all those names. It took a lot of time and courage for me to own up to say, I know I'm black and I love it. But when I was young as a child, it was not easy. It was not easy at all. Maybe that could pressurize, I don't know, some people into changing their color because they don't want to be so different and be treated differently. No, we're saying this so that so people might be doing this ignorantly, not knowing. You could be calling that little kid in the neighborhood blackie. Now I take it as a compliment. Before, not so much, but you could be calling that kid in the neighborhood that name, not knowing that you're doing something.
You're programming the child.
Exactly. You're doing something to their head. You're doing something to their mind, and that could even push them into making mistakes in the future. So think about that when you jump on saying things, and it's not only about the color. Generally, the comments that people make about other people, not knowing how far-reaching the consequences could be. I'm going to come back to you.
Yes.
I want to talk about. We've said it could be bad. We've said it could be dangerous. Let's talk about it.
It is bad. Manda, it is bad.
Yes,
it's just
historically, it is bad.
It is bad. It's just that there is some acceptable bad. If I realize that you will die because there is an infection on your leg, I can amputate. Ma will make this clearer for us.
Yes.
So you will have lost the leg. You would have loved to have the leg, but you were about to lose your whole body. So let us do it with just leg. So these are the situations where let somebody come up and say that, excuse me, I like to use it like a joke, this type of approach to things. Let give everything to somebody who is about to jump from the pinnacle of the cathedral and take away his life. And he says, if you allow me to bleach, I'll calm down. I say, please bleach and calm down. Please bleach as much as you like and just calm down, because there is a possibility that while bleaching we can still change that person back into functioning normally. But there should be nothing that wants to take away somebody's life, and bleaching is a slow process to eliminating your life, because it is destroying your most prominent protection, the first barrier you have with your external environment. The doors of the main door are stronger than the doors into the rooms. You get what I say? So you cannot compromise this epidermis for anything, and you think you are protected because you have a bone inside your body.
Right.
Yeah.
Now let's turn to the doctor. The health disadvantages, the harmful effects of bleaching. Let's say it loud and let's say it clear for people who are watching to understand.
Okay.
Someone's trying to call someone. They're on set. They can't pick. They're on set. They can't pick their phone. It happens a lot. Someone sees you on TV and they start calling your number. They want to make sure. Let me confirm she's the person. No, she can't talk to you right now. You're going to have to call later. It's okay, Laura. Go on.
Okay. So it's adding some small music, background music.
Background music.
Okay, so we can divide the side effects into two. So, and the side effects are generally related like to three main things, which is the type of product that has been used. The second thing is the speed with which you're going through the process. Because
that's true. That's very important.
People don't Mr. Emmanuel rightly said, it is a very, very slow process. People should try to understand that it's a very, very slow process. And even if you have to do the bleaching, don't think that you will go like I see on Facebook, 1 month, 2 weeks.
I know someone who changed her color in no time. Like she was really dark, and before it's like you wake up and before you blink, she had transformed. I didn't understand how it happened.
Yeah, actually, so like that's what I said. It goes through. So those side effects are generally divided in those categories. So like talking about the short-term side effects, the first one is infections. When I go to the cosmetic shop, I usually see when they're doing all those mixtures, they'll always give you a screen. They say, this one is for fungi, this one is for fungi.
Because they know automatically.
Yes, because like fungal infection, so something I want to emphasize, fungal infection is something that you have when your immunity is compromised.
Okay.
When just consider yourself as somebody who's having diabetes or some kind of chronic disease, because this is fungal infection for people who have decreased immunity. And for you to have a decreased immunity, it means you must have like an ongoing process of inflammation, like for a very long time. Your body can't really build up its own defense mechanism. We are talking about fungal infection. We're talking about folliculitis. So you see people, they have just this kind of small pimples, which are dark. Sometimes they become pussy and stuff like that. So that's what they call follicles, folliculitis. So they can also go, like you will try to, the other side effects apart from sepsis, like I said, they can go from fungal infection, bacterial infection, to even whole sepsis, because like you rightly said, you have breached your skin, so you can have a generalized infection. It can go up to your blood, and you die. Just saying. The second one will be, you will try to be bleaching, but you will end up with hyperpigmentations, because your skin had a normal process. Okay, I even myself, but when the product will go in, it will not inhibit all the thyroxine enzyme. Is thyroxine enzyme? Yes. Thyroxinase. So it will not inhibit all the thyroxinase in your whole body. It will inhibit some and leave some. So that's why you have all those kind of hyperpigmentations, and areas like who have many keratocytes. Who have many keratocytes, like the elbows, the knees, and the knuckles. That's why they're really difficult to whiten, because like it's really the enzyme is really difficult to breach that place. So hyperpigmentation, sepsis, and when we come to the product, when you use steroids, like you go with injections and stuff, steroids is, I can say, it's a hormone that God has put in your body to regulate your whole body. They do so many things inside your body, and they are supposed to be given at a particular dose. So if you're given steroids at the wrong dose, you will develop renal failure.
Yeah, so kidney
problems, liver, not even problems. I'm talking about failure, because when sometimes you can have problems and you go to the hospital,
and it'll be fixed.
We'll be able to do something for you, but at a certain point, you will just kill your adrenal glands. And your adrenal glands is the gland that produces like adrenaline. It's supposed to kind of like regulate how your body takes in water. It's supposed to regulate, like, I don't want to go into the details, so regulate so many processes, because steroids are kind of like, I would say, the base of your whole body, because it regulates fertility, so you will have problems with your estrogen, stop ovulating, and that's why you will see some people.
Do people know this?
Yeah, people know this stuff. Some people will start bleaching, and then they will develop hairs on their chin, and they will ask, okay, what's happening? It's because the steroids you've consumed has started inhibiting your normal production of estrogen. Now you're producing testosterone. You're becoming a man. Yes. I'm sorry. You're becoming a man. So there are many, many side effects. We can go on and on and on, but just to say that all the products that are being used in the bleaching industry, if used at the right percentage and at the right for the right period of time, can give you the right result safely. First of all, the problem that I have, like he said, is everybody, like she said, is that everybody has become, I know how to mix. Come to my shop. I will mix. It's not cheap. 1,000. It cannot be 1,000.
Hydroquinone.
It cannot be 1,000. Hydroquinone is used, like, the percentage of hydroquinone should not exceed 5%. I think
2%.
It's 2%. It's 2%. Okay, thank you. So I thought it was 5%. So there's a particular percentage that you can use hydroquinone safely. Everything that God does is good. But how people use it is the problem. So if you want to bleach, my sisters,
brothers,
and brothers, if you're really decided that's what you want to do, and all that we have said here, all the melanin popping, he said no, please save as if you're saving for a house or for a project. This is actually a project that you're having. Don't play around with your own self. It is not good to do it, because for me it's money wasted, because I can't pay to be sterile. I can't pay to have sepsis. I can't pay to have
kidney failure.
But if you say, okay, no problem, I'll go through it, those who have been doing it have survived, okay, Papa, save your money, go to somebody that at least has a certificate for that. Even if you have to go to the beauty store, actually there are certificates. There are certificates for estheticians, there are certificates for dermatologists, there are certificates for medical aesthetics. It's not hidden. Go and ask her, please show me your certificate. Even me as a doctor, if you come and tell me that, show me your certificate, I'll go to my drawer and give you my certificate for you to confirm that I'm actually passing. Yes, I'm actually a doctor. So do your things safely, because there's nobody on this earth who's going to do that for you. Nobody. Everybody will claim to know how to do it. Everybody will claim to be the best at it. But like I said rightly, in the 21st century, you have no excuse of being ignorant. No excuse. Go in the internet, educate yourself. That's what I have to say.
That's right. And while we've reached that point on the show where you can actually call to participate, to let us know what you think. If you have a question to ask, feel free to. If you have a comment to make, you'll have something to share, anything to share on the subject, please feel free to call us. We have the phone numbers appearing there on your TV sets. Make sure when you call us, you're not too close to your TV set, or at least you turn down the volume of your TV set, and then we'll be able to hear. We'd love to hear from you. We'd like to know what you think.
Yes, I want to say something. Yes, I just want you to add up to what Doctor just said. We have this thing they call the hydrolipidic film. It's a protection that is a mixture of the sweat, the oils from a sebaceous glands, you have the oil in your body, and proteins from dead cells that are sloughing off, which nature has put in our scalp and our body to protect. It's an acidic mantle. It actually slows and stabilizes bacteria or microbial activity on our skin. And that is our magic protection. These chemicals completely wipe it off. And that's why the folliculitis and all those things just come welcoming, and you have problems fighting with spot. You just have a mosquito bite. The next thing is an inflammation and things like that.
And cellulitis
and stretch marks. There's the damage of your collagen, which is the support material of your skin inside your dermis. You realize that at the moment you start using these bleaching products, your skin is just breaking through. You have the lines just coming into place all over. And they are really disastrous to see. Then the concept of beauty now is questionable. You were looking for what beauty with the skin, like you have a zebra in terms of, zebra lines on your body. In terms of copper and dark brown, it's just lines up, and it's breaking and going.
Yeah.
And the cellulitis actually pump out. Now that the skin can no longer hold itself, you have bubbles out on your bodies. And this becomes really inaesthetic. We see them when it becomes really bad, when they come in. And now there's the problem of re-educating the person. That is why maybe we'll come to talking about solutions. What do we do for those who are already on the point of no return? What can we share with them? Because there is hope for everybody anyway. So I just wanted to say that there is this aspect which is very, very common. We can't destroy our protection apart from the other deeper physiological complications, but our number one barrier is the hydrolipidic film, which is destroyed. It's an acidic mantle that actually, like a septic mantle that protects us from infections, and also the destruction of the skin, which is that physical barrier also. It loses its ability to protect us from physical aggression. Let it be the sun, let it be aggression from friction and all other encounters that we have. Yeah.
All right. Fine. I was going to ask this question, moving on with the subject. Now, some countries are taking this seriously, which is why these products, the importation and the sales of this skin lightening and bleaching products have been banned in countries like Ghana and Rwanda. Have we reached that point in Cameroon, for example, Helen, where government should be thinking about, banning this product? Have we gotten to that point in Cameroon?
Of course, definitely, because the rate at which people bleach these days is alarming. And if countries like Ghana and Rwanda have taken... Ghana did that, but I still hear that they still have some of those products in their market.
Contraband.
Yes, they still have it. I think it was banned 9 months later, and people started bringing it back. Rwanda recently did it. I don't know how long they're going to succeed, but I think we've reached, in Cameroon, we've reached to that point where we need to fight against it. But then people have decided that that's what they want to do. You understand? People have decided that that's what they want to do. So to me, maybe the government should limit it and not ban it, because some people do that. It's their choice.
To add to that, Manda, I think there are some of these bleaching products where they use mercury.
Yeah.
I think that is what the government should be doing. We can accept products that have a 2% hydroquinone inside, which that's the percentage, the accepted percentage by the FDA. So we should not be allowing products with hydroquinone at 5% and so on. And then worst of those that are produced with mercury in it, which is going to, in the long run, for those who use it, is going to have mercury poisoning. If I'm not wrong, doctor. I'm not a medical doctor. So we should be paying attention.
But I think the government of Cameroon, I think they're not going to succeed if they try to ban it, ban it totally. But they can reduce, like what she said.
We should just pay attention.
Excuse me, I think we have someone on the line. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome about the diary.
Yes, hello.
Yeah, what's your name, sir, and where are you calling us from?
Okay, I'm called Justin Bleaching, and I'm calling from Congo.
Okay. What would you like to contribute to the show today?
Alright, I'd like the topic of the discussion talking about the skin bleaching and all those chemicals that are used. Then my question now is, now as you are on TV, and you are the ones who still advertise those products, still on the same TV, and now you got panelists who are like talking against those chemicals. So how do you compromise the two?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for the question, sir. We're going to try attempt and answer to that question is a very important, very good question.
I didn't get it.
It's like Manda is on TV and the TVs are the one advertising.
No, he didn't say Manda. He said you people on TV.
Manda works on TV.
Well, that's a question for the decision makers on TV, okay? Not everyone who's...
Well, I think even if the partners...
It's not up to me to decide what's aired on TV. It's up to, the big bosses who decide on what's airable. And if government says it's okay to air those ads on TV, I mean,
and
who are you to...
Manda, I think like the experts say, it's all on you. It's all on you to decide how to manage the pressure that is on you, and not fall for those campaigns.
Exactly. All kinds of things are advertised on TV. At the end of the day, you decide what you want, what's good for you, what you're going to consume, and what you're not going to consume. So,
the state has some very important role to play.
I agree.
If we said that the parents are the role models for the children, let the state be the role model for their community. I think governments that come to that level is a level of greatness we have to really emulate. I want to say that if you look at the beauty industry, it's not regulated. Everybody is a beautician. So they have a signboard for it. So if you walk in believing you're talking to an expert and it leads you into that, at least sometime by the time you see the side effects, there's no way you can turn the clock back.
That's right.
You'll be trying to repair the damage, not escaping from it. But you walk into a professional environment hoping to get professional advice. In the medical sector, this gone up front. I don't know why it was just that way. In the medical sector, everything was regulated. You have the board, you have the government, you have a ministry, and so on. And then by every chance, if you go to a quack doctor, you look for one, because a good doctor is available at almost affordable rate for everybody. So you have guidance, and there's a lot of communication on health by the government, campaigns going on. Why do we talk so much on health and other aspects that have so much damage to the same health just go by, unnoticed?
To the background.
So this is where, in other countries, they are all regulated. A beauty professional is licensed, valued for 2 years, and you have to go back to pass the board exam. 2 years, and your diploma is hanging on your workstation. If the control comes in, you are suspended. You will not practice in that state. So why do we, investigate on cars? We do what I used to say, these accidents. They used to talk of visit technique. You send the cars for visit techniques. You don't send the drivers and the owners of the transport system for psychological evaluation. That's true. It doesn't change anything, because the boss say you have to make another turn. The guy is tired. You say you will make another turn or you lost your job. The car is well, but the driver, part of the deciding system on the road, is mentally off. And so the accidents remain. So we cannot say we do visit technique and we show it on the road, and there's no psychological evaluation that shows this driver has seen his psychotherapist or psychologist in 6 months' time, whatever time is valid to check. So it's the same thing. So the state has a very important function here in terms of regulation. That alone will create awareness to families, because parents will be able to talk differently to their children. Children in school will be able to know that the government is not this is criminal, this is evil. So people will start knowing that doing this or seeing this type of person is a problem. When native doctors had a lot of problems, they had to organize themselves into traditional medicine societies where they could prove their competence. And now it's easy, they have licenses, it's easy for you to know this is a herbalist that is monitored. And that helped something, because we can be inspired from the medical call to look at all the other things that really affects life.
And Manda, while the government will be doing that, they'll have to check the porosity of our borders too. Because we can do all of that, and then once we still have our borders with Nigeria and other countries are porous, we're going to have bleaching products that are going to come in that are very detrimental to our health.
Actually, I wanted to say that it's true that there's much to be done, but in the penal code, there's a sanction for actually people who bleach other people, and then they end up with side effects.
Conditions.
Yeah. Okay. And they can even be in prison for that for 6 months, 3 to 6 months, depending on the if it is proved that you have endangered the life of somebody through bleaching products, you can go to jail, according to the Cameroon Penal Code. So I believe that we must at least acknowledge the step. It's true that there's much to be done, but they are conscious of the problem. And since there's much to be done in our country, and I think it's something that is coming up gradually. Maybe the measures that other countries, because other countries have taken, may not be proper for our setting. So it depends. So it's not because Rwanda, but we are not people from Rwanda.
No, we're not saying we're Rwanda. You remember there was a time that I think the Ministry of came up with something about catching girls who are indecently dressed on the road, and after a couple of weeks or months, it just died.
For me, it was not even something.
So there are some of those things that it should not end at the level of paperwork. I mean, it should actually be implemented, and it should be very, very effective.
People don't even have the information, because I'm not sure that like even 10% of the population knew that they could go and file a report for somebody who gave them a bleaching product that ended up, then made them to have problems in the end.
well, maybe because they went to the person and said, I want to
but like he rightly said, you go to a professional.
Go on.
I said, they said,
do we have a caller? Hello? Apparently we have someone on the line. Hello?
Please, I want to ask about the bleaching.
Okay.
I want to know if there's somebody, my sister is doing that bleaching. So I want to know if you people can help me for me to stop, because I've tried my best. Because as I'm seeing that they say I have like, after sometimes maybe that person can have my infection. As you see me, I'm pushing. I'm afraid like I want to die. Please, I'm just begging you people to give me some advice that I can give to her, that he can stop to do the bleaching, because she was very like that girl that's only blue, but now he's white woman. I don't understand again, because I'm so afraid of that. Please help me.
All right, thank you very much, Manda, for calling us and for asking that question. We didn't get your name though. Would you like to share that with us? She's already gone. We didn't get her name, but you could tell that she's really concerned about the well-being of her sister. Yeah, she's really concerned about the well-being of her sister. Anyone wants to jump on that question? What can she do? How can she help her sister?
I think she's been following the program. We gave so much information, and her sister has to be conscious about her health and the health consequences, which are the first things that should bring you back to your senses is that. And secondly, she may not be certainly beautiful now, being white. She may not be beautiful after all. And I just want to add something. Sometimes the people for whom we think we are bleaching, they don't even deserve what we are doing, ladies or men. Sometimes they are not worth the sacrifice, the investment you are doing. And other times, these people who seem to think, I used to say that if a dog walks by the riverside and tells the fishes, you don't swim well, you could do better, they will just ask him, why don't you jump in? Sometimes the people who evaluate your beauty are not worthy. They're not even competent. So let the ladies, if they are more the victim, take a step back at times, even see who is telling you whether you are beautiful or not. Sometimes you realize you are dealing with a mental handicap and you are getting carried, So there we go back to the educational system, where we teach people on these subjects that were never on the curriculum. We never write them in GCE. Love, hate, pain, sorrow, beauty, these things which actually manages our whole mental makeup. When at the end of the day you are depressed or traumatized from all of these aspects we are talking, you can't be efficient as a mother, neither as a wife, neither as a corporate boss, you can be very intellectually strong, but when your image has been compromised, you will have a problem to communicate to people you need to inspire and lead. So at the end of the day, it is not productive, this whole thing.
That's right. Well, we sure hope that she'll be able to find a way to talk to her sister. You'll be able to find a way to talk to your sister. That's to the caller, and help her understand the damages, the effects, and the consequences she's going to suffer from if she does not stop. That is, if she's not suffering from them already. Because at the end of the day, it's her decision. It's up to her. Even if you preach to her and tell her everything she needs to do and how she needs to stop bleaching, if she doesn't do it, well, no one can actually do that for her. The action, she has to take the step on her own to stop. Well, I do hope that she's.
And also wanted to add also the approach, because like if you come to somebody and with a judgmental approach, the person is not going to listen to you, because you need to make the person understand that I'm not judging. You do whatever you want with your own body, but I just want to make sure that what you're doing, you're informed about the consequences of whatever you're doing. Because like I think the take-home message of this program will be, we should always consider the mental aspect of it. The mental aspect. If the person is not well in her psychology, that's what I've gathered from everything that we spoke about here. So we should make sure that, please, you're my sister, I'm concerned. I would just want to make sure that you know what you're putting yourself through. Are you ready just to be white, to have difficulty, spend 2.5 million to come and give a gynecologist for you to have children? I don't know. Okay.
Well, maybe we have been massaging our languages a lot here. It's bad.
It's really bad.
Don't do it. Because doing it the wrong way and spending little to do it, you end up with the same negative effects. Spending a whole lot of millions to do it, you're still going to have negative effects. So accept who you are. If you were born dark, if you were born fair, accept who you are. Don't try to change it.
Yeah, because I feel like as humans, we're supposed to accept the bodies in which we were made, you understand? And if you don't accept that body in which you are, you definitely want to change it. So she should just...
We may not communicate as well as... It's unfortunate we cannot bring clinical situations onto a platform.
Yeah, I didn't even want to come with pictures because there are some horrible pictures out there.
Yeah,
horrible.
But I mean, we have cases we are managing today that we cannot even apply a cosmetic. We say use water, use a moisturizer. You can't even stand a basic clean size soap, nothing. A detergent can't even work on the skin. We just try to pray that the regeneration, because that's the grace with the skin that can come with time, and go gently. The skin is completely charred, burnt. She gave some names to it. And that person has to go to work, has to take their daughter to school. They put on, very thick foundations, and they try to do, and those foundations in our climatic situation have a very negative, when they break down with the sun, they have another negative. So sometimes we say, imagine you had some accident or something, we now work with the mind for the person to be able to live with their situation, knowing that by some grace it can slowly be regenerated as we take off the dead skin slowly. The new ones that are coming may slowly. But these are very painful psychological procedures for the clients. And I salute the doctor's remark on how you talk to people in this situation. Most of them are hurting, and they have found their own type of solution. It may not be appropriate, and this is where counseling becomes very important in all of these procedures. That it is very, very important that we have counselors actively involved in this procedure, because the wrong message was put in as we grew along. If they called you blackie and all of stuff, of course, it's not going to make you smart in your mind, knowing that you were... if they carried the baby and they didn't carry you because that was lighter, these are innocently damaging messages that can stay for a very long time in the lives of people. Some of them don't actually bleach, but they find an inferiority with other aspects. But it was provoked by this color thing. They are not doing it, but they are suffering with a low esteem from the fact that I was not chosen. The guy that came preferred to go out with my friend who was light-skinned, and I would have loved to go out with him. He didn't pick me. And so somewhere I don't want to change my skin color. But I have not been picked. It's another message. You understand? There's something about me that makes me not pickable. I'm not changing my skin color, it's bad. But I am feeling a low self-esteem, which can affect other aspects of my life. The next guy who comes and who really loves you, you keep saying, are you sure you love me? Even the gifts that come to you, you keep doubting whether they're really sincere. This is because for a color issue, you were not picked. Now you think that you are not the pickable one for all situations. So it's a very complicated thing, and it's important that our community we say, let's teach other values. And I have a good story to say. you who was chosen for the first 30 years of your life because you were light-skinned, for the next 30, you disappeared. As you were an icon, for role model, for whatever. It's TV that keeps you going and pictures. Sometimes those pictures last for 100 years and you're admired. But in real life, you look horrible. If you see Sean Connery or all of these guys who are such Denzel Washington and stuff, they're not looking the same. But the movies are there, giving us the impression that these are the strong guys. So we have to be careful about, is it actually just the look? Are there other things that make us the greatness that we really are? And when we can start getting those full values, when you come talking to somebody who has 10 values, that one of them has a problem, you say, I have 9 over 10. What's your problem? Exactly. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
that's right. We really need to change mentalities. We really have to try and change people's mentalities, because until that is done, in my opinion, we're not going to go very far with this fight. But let's also talk about remedy. Like you mentioned earlier, there's no situation that is completely hopeless. Something can be done, or at least we can try to do something before it gets to the point where there is no going back. As the medical doctor, Laura, I'm going to start to you and start with you on this one. Is there a way of reverting the consequences?
It would depend on the consequence. Like if it's an infection, we will treat the infection. If it's renal failure, in Cameroon they don't give kidneys, so it depends on the consequence.
The level.
Not the level
of damage.
It depends on which one you're experiencing.
Okay.
So concerning the skin, like I think it is, I can say the mirror of everything that's happening inside your body. If your skin is glowing, it means your whole body is glowing normally. So concerning the skin, like he rightly said, you just have to stop completely everything that has to do with the bleaching. And depending on the level, just use hydrating products, and maybe we can, like I said, it's just like a prescription. You will have to be followed by a specialist, because I can't really go into it, because it's really from case to case. It will depend. But the first step will be to stop completely and allow your body to come back to its natural self gradually. What we will do is just to try to accompany your body and just strengthen it, give it building blocks for it to try to repair what has been broken. But actually sometimes you cannot go back to your old self.
Impossible. Okay, like say someone who was as dark as I am became so fair, they were fairer than Dentia. So it's impossible for you to go back to the original color you had before you started bleaching.
It will be a very, very, very long process, because like I always give the analogy is, a bomb will destroy this whole quarter in 1 second. But to build it block to block, it can take 20 years. Will you still be there? Will you still have the money? Will you still have the patience to come back to your old you? There's nothing that's impossible, but the journey is very long to come back to build what has been destroyed.
I would like to get your opinion on the subject, Emmanuel.
Yes, of course. Like I said, there's hope for everybody. The profession wants that people should come in with whatever they have as a concern, and that you can work. And what is important here now, you work with those competences that you have, or the competence that you can bring in. Sometimes the beauty therapist may not have all the elements, may want to work with a medical esthetician, may want to work with a dermatologist. The first thing is meeting people who have the sincerity and the honesty to make, and the competence to make a good diagnosis, and secondly, to associate the right team and give you the right counseling. And I insist, get counseling. Let a psychotherapist be there for this process, because sometimes you don't need to have your original body. You can have a better body from this point of view of your mindset. That is, you can have a better you without necessarily having the same skin that you had. The process may have built another charm in you, another greatness in you, in another way of carrying your person forward in life. So the counseling aspect is very, very important. Beauty actually is something a lot bigger, a lot gigantic than how commercials put it to us and how the cosmetic industries put it to us. And most of those who have kept their beauty forever knew about it and have used it nicely. It is not economically beneficial for the cosmetic industry for you to know the 90% of the beauty that you have. They market on the 10%, which is visual, because there is a beauty that is palpable when you touch somebody. The texture and the refinement of the skin. Most of what looks beautiful on pictures and on TV, when you touch them, you have itchy fingers. So what I'm trying to point out here is that there is a bigger dimension to beauty. And when you bring your case into the hands of specialists, these are people who are humanists. They will, first of all, love you enough to care about your concerns and to accompany you through the process. And to let you stand, because the comments will still be there. You go back to a society that is not friendly, that has the comments to throw at you and so on. So you will be accompanied to be able to manage those concerns, because we can't ignore them. And in the process, you heal from within, because if your psychological state is bad, your body will heal with a lot of difficulties. The skin will regenerate very slowly and may not really make it. So it is very important that the mindset is healthy. And then the other aspects like diet, your lifestyle, if you're on alcohol, if you were smoking, if you were having long nights awake and stuff like that, it's a complete package which can help you. Do something. There's always something that can be done for everybody. As long as we are alive, there's always hope that you can improve on this situation. But like doctor said, the first is for you to be able to accept to give up, which is very difficult for most of them at the very end level. They really are like, they have lost the sense of judgment of what is good and bad. And most of them are also on the defensive. They are coming to fight. That's why counseling is really, really important.
And so maybe we need to conscientize on something. And now, maybe your journalist, part of your work is to sensitize and also bring about positive change. How do you think we can go about this business?
Well, it's a very difficult one. But I think if there's one easy way we have to reach out to a good amount of the population now is with the social media. With our Facebook pages and WhatsApp and Snapchat and Instagram, and the list is long. We cannot exhaust that. I think that is how we can reach out to people. The pictures are there, case studies are there to show people. The lady we called earlier has her sister, who is a case study. She's worried about her sister. She's a white woman today, and she's heard about the side effects of bleaching the skin, and she is worried. We've made her double worried about her sister. And I think on platforms like this, on TV programs, on radio programs, on social media platforms, let's tell those, especially the illiterate population, that don't know about the negative side effects of cream, and you see your colleague or your neighbor or somebody who has changed their complexion, and you jump in and you do the same thing without really understanding what it's all about. We need to sensitize people, we need to talk to people, we need to educate people about the dangers of wanting to switch complexion, of wanting to have teint métis or wanting to have teint blanc or whatever they choose to call it. It is dangerous, it is harmful for you. I don't see why somebody would want to invest millions to buy diseases tomorrow, and even life-threatening diseases, because we're talking about skin cancer, if I'm not wrong, doctor. In the long run, you can have that. You're prone to having a skin cancer. So I don't see that as a stupid investment for me. You should not do that. So let's talk to people. Let's sensitize people. It is not a small issue. We have malaria, AIDS, and other pandemics out there and other things troubling us, but this is not something that we should neglect. It is important to inform the people about the dangers of this thing. So, and I would see, like what you've organized here on the diary, this topic for discussion today, we have gone across to a whole lot of people who now probably understand the dangers of bleaching the skin. And like the doctor did say, it starts with, let's not be judgmental. We have to, for those whose cases are already far gone, let's treat them with love. Let's correct them. Let's bring them back to the origin, but let's do it with a lot of love. If not...
That's right. And
just like she said, some of us were on TV social media is very, very important these days. We should organize campaigns against skin bleaching, even though some people still won't listen, but those campaigns are very, very important. Sensitize people the effects of bleaching. And also, I have friends who told me that when they were growing up, they didn't like people call them ugly, but today they've bleached their bodies and they are very happy.
And they call them beautiful now.
And now they are beautiful, they call them beautiful. So these campaigns are very, very important.
All right. So we've come to the end of the show, but I'm going to have everyone say very quick, brief last word. Let me start with you, Laura. What would be your final say on the subject?
My final say will be our society, for me, everything comes with mental programming. If you have been programmed, like parents, please try to, and families, try to, I don't even know what
tailor.
Let's try to tailor and put the right values in your children and in your loved ones, because from there everything will go on right.
Okay,
because that's what I think.
All right, Manda Shango.
Well, I will continue as she's taken on the parents. I insist on the parents. That's the first school. The next one, the professionals who stick out. That's the perfume shops, the beauticians, the dermatologists. And it should not be human value, it's above money value. When people come to you for their beauty needs, don't go to where you just want to make figures. Look at their lives, and the decisions you take should affect their lives positively for the rest of their life.
Okay, Mabel?
I would say being black doesn't make you any less of a human being. Being black is beautiful. It doesn't stop you from succeeding. It doesn't stop you from getting the attention you want. Let's accept who we are and love who we are.
And finally,
most of the times people do this to be beautiful, and I just want to tell everybody that is watching that you're beautiful just the way you are. There's no need to change your complexion.
We couldn't have said that better.
Yeah, that's close.
Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. I think we've had a very, very interesting show today. Hopefully, many people have been sensitized, and now they'll think twice when they go to get bleaching products. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back again next week, Saturday, with something even more interesting for you. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.